Hello, my absolutely beautiful astrology soulmates. It's me, Stormie Grace, and welcome to this new moon in Virgo video for the new moon that will be happening on September 6th in the energy of Virgo at 14 degrees. So if you've got Virgo placements, and we all do, you're definitely going to want to know what this moon has got to offer for you, how to take advantage of it, and what we're actually looking at astrologically when we are putting a chart together and understanding the information available to us. So hang out, stick around with me if you're into new moon and astrology things. I will show you not only how I delineate this horoscope to come down to the information I find useful for us to consider at this time, but I'll also talk a little bit about how you can use this energy to your advantage and things that you can consider during this particular time. All right, jumping right in, we have got the chart for the new moon in Virgo up on the screen. So if you are new to astrology and all of these lines have you feeling like you're going to go blind, don't worry, I'm going to show you what we're really looking at this particular time. We'll talk about the astrology and the symbology behind it as well. So first things first, when we're looking at this chart, we've got a new moon. So the actual astrological aspect that's happening in the sky that we're looking at when we're talking about a new moon is that we've got the sun and the moon together, and they are together down here at 14 degrees of Virgo. Now, when the sun and the moon come together, first of all, it is the end of one cycle and the beginning of the next. And the cycle lasts about 28 days. So the new moon is when our luminaries are together. The sun and the moon are together. So anything is possible. Our insides and our outsides are right next to each other, sharing and vibrating in alignment. And this is really important to understand because this is a quiet and intuitive space of the cycle. In the sky, it's dark. There's not a lot of light in the sky. It is dark. So when our insides and our outsides are together, vision this, feel through this with me. When your insides and your outsides are in alignment, it's this quiet, intuitive place of knowing that anything is possible, of knowing that I am balanced, I am whole, I am divine, I am complete here. And any direction I wish to stretch and grow is available to me. That is the energy of a new moon. So that is why when we hear people talk about plant your seeds of intention, do your new moon rituals and ask for things, ask for the beginnings at the new moon. That's why, because our insides and our outsides are so divinely tied together at this time that it makes it a phenomenal time to make new starts, to request fresh perspective. There's a newness that is absolutely available to us in how we would like to move and direct ourselves forward. So the actual astrology is that the sun and the moon are together. Now they are together this particular time in the energy of Virgo. So that means that our possibilities of beginning and of new and of fresh start come through the characteristics of Virgo. And so what is Virgo great at? Virgo is a mercurial energy. It is phenomenal at information. It is absolutely phenomenal at discernment, picking up patterns, health, wellness, making these areas the very best that they can be, the sacred in everyday life, mundane things like brushing your teeth, doing that laundry, taking out the trash, right? All of these things come down to a sacred understanding when we're dealing with Virgo energy, okay? Now, the other thing I do want to point out is that we're having a new moon in an earth sign. Earth signs work through the material plane, okay? These are material things. You can touch it, you can taste it, you can feel it. You are considering, even as I'm in and of this material world, am I the best that I can be? Am I the most healthy that I can be? These are very Virgo kind of questions. And earth signs keep it real. You either have it or you don't. And that is what I love about dealing with energies that come through earth signs, because it becomes very clear to us, because those who can do, right? And this is where we get the opportunity to keep it very real with ourselves. Do I have this resource? Am I showing up? Am I healthy? Am I taking moves to progress towards health? These are the kinds of questions that become very tangible for us at this time. But Virgo, in its discernment, in its pattern finding, and in its sacred understanding of the necessity for everyday living, Virgo is also a phenomenal fixer because it can discern what's not going right here, pick out that pattern, pick out that issue, and tweak it Help it be the very best that it can be. So right here, what we have available to us at this new moon is the opportunity for that divine inside outside. Anything is possible to me. The world is available to me to be the best that I can, to be shown, get a fresh set of eyes, sacred eyes, to see and to discern what needs to be adjusted, to be the very best that it can be, to help me adjust and fix things in my material world, to be inspired to move forward towards that kind of work, those kinds of actions, that kind of health, and that kind of wellness. Now, it's really important that you understand and you're able to identify where 14 degrees of Virgo is happening for you in your chart so that you can see what house is actually impacted for you along with other aspects and elements. And if you are not sure how to do that yet, I've got a beautiful video that I will link right here. I'll put a card up here so that you can click over and find the active transit in your chart. But make no mistake, whether you have planets there, points, angles, whatever, we all have all 12 signs in our chart. So you do want to pay attention to that. Other things that you want to pay attention to before we see the rest of the connection at this moon is anything that you have in your chart, planet, point, angle, asteroid, fixed star, if that's what you're working with, at 14 degrees will have an interaction with this moon and will put emphasis and impact onto what's happening and how this manifests out. And if you are not there and you do not understand that yet, I want you to just find out what house it's in for you so that you can vibe into the energy for your own personal chart, okay? If you don't have a chart, go to astro.com, Cafe Astrology. You can order one from me in the description box down below. Do what you need to do to get your own chart, okay? All right, now let's add to the aspects of what's going on here. Now, first of all, what I'm doing when I'm looking for the active aspects in a chart, because there's a lot of lines, there's a lot of conversation going on here. What I'm looking for is what is in the tightest aspect to this particular moon. And that means what is in the tightest degree with it. So what we can see here on the screen is in very tight degree. They share the same degree as that we've got Uranus over here. And Uranus and the moon, the new moon, are in a trine. They're both in earth elements. Trines exist between the same element. So we've got a new moon Uranus trine here. And a trine is a nice pocket of ease and opportunity. It provides opportunity, but we have to go to the opportunity. It makes the talent or the skill very easy to work with or work within. So it makes energy easy to transfer, okay? Now, what I love about this opportunity we are given, this trine, this ease of energy, is a couple things. One, Uranus at the time of this particular moon is retrograde. It's retrograde. So Uranus being retrograde here and in very close orb, which means distance, to this particular moon tells us that we have access to information from the past, desires from the past, innovation, authenticity, our own uniqueness, our own eccentricity from the past, desires, aspirations that we have for ourselves long range from the past. We've got those. We've also got external societal issues, challenges, options, availabilities. They're available to us informationally here because Uranus is looking backwards. And instead of sending all of these brand new ideas, these brand new situations and circumstances that surprise us, kick us off our feet, right? Instead, now it's already brought all of those things to the table. So it's not throwing them at us as fast. What is on the table is what we're working with. But instead, we have Uranus in its innovative terms, flipped back around, ready and able to provide us with new ideas, new inspiration, new influence over old things, especially things that were happening in the world, especially things that have to do with how we govern our money, our food, our resources, our possessions, our self-worth, and our self-value, right? Maybe we came through 2020 and you got shaken, not stirred, right? And it was like, what am I going to do? Uranus showed up in the area of resources in Taurus for all of us and said, well, what are you going to do with that? How are you going to make your own way? What's your own thing? Also, how do you take that own thing and join it in the material world so that you can still earn, you can still eat, you can still grow, and you can still be a part of a community? It's a very shocking, independent break free from what was kind of energy. Many people also saw this energy truly in your finances, where we came into a position where we were asked, with your finances. How are you going to innovate this area? Are you tired at that job? Are you emotionally tired around possessions and debt, right? These are questions that we have all been asked, but whatever it is, what I want you to keep in mind at this particular new moon is that you have seen it. Your values, your worth around money, food, relationships in very tangible ways where we can see it, you can see it happening, right? Have been shaken up, and now you're provided an opportunity to relook at it. Now, the trine with this new moon that's vibrating with anything's possible, and then I've got this ease of action to innovate things from the past. I get a sense of new adventure. I get a sense of innovation. I get a sense of new ideas on how to handle old things. That old possibility I didn't think was actually going to work out, I've got a new perspective on it at this time, right? It is a great time whenever Uranus steps onto the scene for us to get out of our box. We can't grow where it's comfortable, right? If you've gotten good and uncomfortable, then this new moon is probably for you, right? This one has got your name on it, right? So it is a phenomenal place at the new moon with this trine to Uranus to say, okay, I'm planting my seeds of intention. I'm asking for guidance. I'm asking for direction. I'm asking for inspiration. I'm asking for the people, places, and things, universe, that I need to walk forward with me. I am asking you to bring them into alignment with my vision, with my understanding, and allow me to, in a material way, which means in a way I can touch, taste, see, and hear these people, these resources, be willing to go on that new adventure with them so that I can have a completely different experience. Maybe teachers show up. Maybe you have a moment of discovery about yourself over this next 4 weeks, because you'll have about 4 weeks to really work with this energy in a small cycle. You have this sense of discovery and awareness about what makes you unique, right? And I do want to be clear, because this is a material, because earth signs are materially based, at this particular moon over the next 4 weeks, and certainly as the full moon rolls around, so really 8 weeks, you could find that as you're discovering, you're becoming aware, you're taking advantage of new opportunities, right? The inspiration comes in, they manifest for you. Believe that it will work. These will manifest for you, right? You may find that you are having to cut ties with people, places, and things in your life in order to make space for the next journey. Now, that doesn't mean go out there with this like machete and just start cutting people, places, and things out of your life, but ask to be shown yourself, ask to be shown you, and allow that creative energy, a creative breakthrough, an innovative breakthrough to come running at you. My experience, my friends, is that when we are doing this spiritual work and we're in the realm of the spirit, which in astrology is the realm of the spirit meets the physical, right? When we take one step towards the universe comes running. So if you're ready at this new moon to ask for the help, the guidance, the awakening you need, if you're willing and you're ready to take advantage of it, I think that this is a wonderful moon for you to have some conditions in your life become different. And it may be just the beginning of them becoming different, but under a trine, this is a lovely, harmonious energy. So it is usually quite good. Now, in areas of social things in our lives as well, you may find that you're having different ideas, different alignments. And the reason that I want to point that out to you is because outside of this trine, the next thing that I'm going to do when I am looking at what's happening around an event is I need to see what the ruling planet of the event is doing. Now, the ruling planet of this particular new moon is Mercury. Mercury is right here at 10 degrees of Libra, and it is quite tightly opposing here Chiron over here at 11 degrees. But let's talk about this Mercury for a minute. Now, on the 6th, while we are having this new moon, and yes, it is beautiful, ritual, bring it in, it's time. Mercury is entering into pre-retrograde shadow time. Now, a Mercury retrograde happens in 4 parts. If you haven't had a chance to check out your monthly horoscope, I'll put a card here too where you can click the playlist so you can really get into that. But Mercury retrogrades happen in 4 parts. Pre-retrograde shadow, retrograde direct and post retrograde shadow time. Okay. In pre-retrograde shadow, what's happening as we see beautiful Mercury here at 10 degrees of Libra is Mercury is slowing down. And I always talk about it. It's like going on vacation, right? Mercury starting to pack, got the luggage out, put in the request for vacation, making the arrangements. It's slowing down and it's beginning to gather information, even though it is moving forward. It's gathering information that will need to be reviewed during the retrograde. So Mercury moves into pre-retrograde shadow right here on the 6th, on the same day that this new moon is happening. This is profound for us because it allows our minds to slow down. You have space for thought, for breath, for reflection. You have space for delineation of yourself between what is how you've been showing up and how you want to show up. What is the space between how your money looks right now and what you would like it to look like? What's the space between your relationship with your mother and your father right now and the space of where you would like it to be? Your health, your wellness, right? There is space and time, and you have space and time to consider this because Mercury is in Libra. It is a double sign. We are thinking about more than one thing at a time and looking for the equilibrium and the balance within that. So we tie that concept in here with this opposition that we see that Mercury's having to Chiron over in Aries. Chiron is also retrograde at this time, so it's a review of the past. Chiron in Aries is the wound of the identity. Okay, but Chiron is also a beautiful teacher. Don't worry, I'm not going to leave that out. But Chiron is in Aries is the wound of the identity, who I think I should be. I am afraid that the world will not accept my identity. I'm afraid that I don't understand my identity. Who am I? Am I allowed to be this? Have I been being this, right? Are these things palatable to me and to the world? So it is very much so this space of the warrior searching for who and what makes the warrior the warrior. And I think many of us can identify with that at this time. Now, Chiron is retrograde at this time after having been in Aries for quite some time. So while this opposition does absolutely light up Chiron and we feel that wound open just a little bit and we go, okay, wait, who am I? Chiron's in retrograde and it's like, well, now hold on a minute. Now, who have you been? Are you still who you have been in this lifetime? We get the opportunity. We've got, remember this beautiful trine down here to become self-aware and to ask ourselves these questions. Am I still who I have been? Am I making my way back to that person I was when there was joy, when there was play, when there was ease and there was flow? Who am I today? Right? Who have I been? And this is also the place where I feel like the opposition between Mercury and this Chiron become divine, because Mercury here in the double sign of the we, Libra, opposing Chiron in the single sign of Aries, the me. We have this question between the me and the we, and this creates a wonderful opportunity to say, how have I been showing up between the me and the we? Am I bringing the me to the we? Have I lost my voice in the we? Have I been thinking? Right? Mercury is a thinking sign. Have I been thinking for myself, or have I been going on with what other people have told me I'm supposed to think? My society, my community, my parents, my family, right? There's this wonderful space for investigation to tap into our perceptive and psychic skills here under this energy and answer those questions. And to also, in doing so, to answer the questions that Chiron will bring to the table and light up under this opposition with Mercury, there's this beautiful space to be so passionately ourselves and to learn and to reflect and how we can grow into that we make space for other people to do that as well. And that is a real gift of Chiron, is our ability with Chiron retrograde to reach into the past of who and what I have been, how I've shown up, mistakes I've made, the good stuff I've done, right? And to give it to the we, share ourselves with someone else so that we can divert their pain or their trauma or their chaos or their worry. Share in a joyful moment with another person, right? Bring the me to the we. And this provides an opportunity when I can do that. when I am confident and I am whole enough, or I am willing enough to try something else, I think that it lights up the real possibility between that Uranus and Virgo energy for me to have a whole new experience on this planet with my fellow humans, whether that be challenging relationships from the past, challenging relationships presently, living and moving and swimming and having my being and my own authenticity. It creates an absolute space, though, where the changes that need to happen in the relationship dynamics, even though it's in opposition, I feel like, oh, maybe I don't really want to do that. Maybe I don't really want to say that. Maybe I don't really want to get help with my finances. Maybe I don't really want to tell somebody I don't know what I'm doing with my business, right? Maybe in the opposition of it all, I find a space where I have this surrender and I can better understand my fellows and have a new experience. Now, all of that beautiful information said, I have to remind again that Mercury is slowed here. So if we're trying to make decisions at this moon to just push something forward, Mercury slowed down is not going to move as quickly like that. It is not going to move as quickly, and I don't think that we want it to. Have you ever watched a mountain run? I mean, I never have. Okay, I have never seen a mountain run, not in my whole life. And maybe somebody in the comment section is going to be like, well, there's one time. So if it's you, let me know. Okay. But mountains, earth signs, they're not packing up a mountain and going on a run. Instead, we want this nice slowed down energy where we're looking for equilibrium and we're looking for balance so that we can get on with the business of intuitively making some different decisions in our lives. And again, I need to point out that this is a wonderful time for healing, for change. We're coming into the fall as well. This is our new moon in September, just a couple weeks before we're going to come into the autumn season, the new season. So over this next 4 weeks, my beautiful friends, if it is time for you to start really being that tree and shedding some of your leaves, it is okay, right? The leaving, literal leaving, is also a blessing. Not everything can go with us, including us, right? Including us. The Stormie that showed up on this channel with you 6 months ago, she's just about outgrown her going, okay? And it's okay for pieces of us to shed so that we can become what's new. If you are, your friends, your business, if there are clients, if there are friends, and it is time for them to be in a new season and move on without you, these things are okay. It is going to be the discernment of Virgo energy for you to ask for the fresh perspective, to surrender the things that are old, the ideas that are old, the identity that is old, so that you can trade in for that next best thing that the universe already has lined up for you. Because what the universe has lined up for you has already calculated your silliness, so you're not going to mess it up, and it has already made space for you to be bigger than maybe the vision I think that you can even see. And for many of us, many of us, it is going to be a stand-up moment of accountability, I think, around things like our resources, especially finances, right? We've got Jupiter over there retrograde as well in the energy of Aquarius. There are plenty of teachers available, and that's something that I think we continue to find out as we travel through 2021. So as we look at this new moon, there is a lot of possibility. There is a lot of availability. Now, I know that somebody is going to ask, and especially if you've been practicing for a while, on the map here, on the chart, it shows this opposition between the new moon and Neptune. Now, I'm going to tell you, yes, the opposition is there, so some things may be blurry. Instead, I think it adds a little bit of inspiration, but really the orb for me is a little bit too far to really involve in the assessment of this moon. So if it works for you, if you are a person who taps very quickly or very easily into that Neptune frequency, do you run with it? Share with us in the comment section down below. For me, the distance between the moon and that particular opposition is just a little bit too wide for me to really pull in that wave of energy and influence. So if it works for you, please, by all means, go ahead and do that, because I think that's absolutely, Neptune is always profound. Neptune, thank goodness, has been retrograde for a while. So at this particular moon, I think it's giving that space of it's okay for me to become something else, more than a really heavy influence. So All right, my absolutely beautiful friends. Oh, let me say this before I move on and talk a little bit about how else you can use this. Because we are having a new moon at 14 degrees, the placements and positions that you have at 14 degrees of Pisces will also be impacted. They will be in opposition to this particular moon. So if you have got, let's say your descendant or your seventh house is at 14 degrees of Pisces, know that you will be in opposition with this particular new moon. Now, when we've got opposition, what we want to do is we'll feel that pull going in two different directions. But what we want to do is find middle ground, find what's common, find the middle space between the direction you're feeling pulled this way and the direction you're feeling pulled this way. Because essentially what you end up having is a new moon, a fresh beginning that turns into a full moon energy. And full moon is all about seeing things for what they are, right? So you'll emotionally see things in your relationships the way that they are, get some clarity, have some light shed on it, desires that you have, but then you need to integrate the newness of this new moon, the adventure, the willingness, the openness to have a fresh start with some changes that also need to be made to bring those things into alignment. So if you end up having an aspect like that, I want you to just keep in mind that that is something that you're definitely going to be experiencing, okay? All right, my beautiful friends, I hope that this gave you a little bit of information. And I also hope that if you are not sure how to find this transit in your chart, you will check out the video I have available for you. If you don't have your chart, come to me, come to whoever you practice astrology with and get that. And also just in general, in this season, as we're coming into September, the things that need to be shed, the places that you don't belong anymore, I hope that you find the courage and the passion and the willingness to not force yourself into them. Instead, allow some new solutions, some new people, and a new adventure to come to your table. All right, my beautiful friends, like this video, comment, share, subscribe. I love you a ton, and I'll see you in the next video, okay?